Hey everyone, this is Siva again. So I did end up building a pickleball court in my backyard. So as you could see, we do have a big backyard, and there was a time like, okay, what are we going to do next to your backyard? Some kind of upgrades. Me and my wife were talking about whether to build a pool or a pickleball court. And since we both like pickleball, we thought we'll just do this. So there are like three options you could do. One, you could pour asphalt, or the second option is actual concrete. And the third option is the reinforced, like rebar concrete, which is going to be the most stable one. Yeah. So what we have is a reinforced rebar concrete. The dimensions what we have is about 60 by 30, 60 feet by 30. Ideally, it is recommended about 65 to 70 feet, on the length, and then 35 feet on the width. In that way, you get better space, on your sideline and baseline. Now, in terms of how it is built, so the first what they would do is they would come and clear your area, your backyard, and then they would level the ground, just to make sure it's flat. They will put with a slight inclination down so that there's no water drainage issues in your backyard. And also the court, there's not going to be no pooling, right? Once the concrete is poured, um, they will ask them what you want the concrete to be finished. You have to say smooth to light broom finish. Now, once the concrete is poured and you got your finish done, what we need to let it settle. So what we call it as curing of concrete. Now, depending on the time of the year and the climate, the concrete curing is going to take time. Anywhere between, it could be as fast as a month, and sometimes it may take a longer than a month. So we ended up actually doing this in the month of October, November, kind of last year. So that was kind of winter time. So it took a little bit longer to cure and settle. So just to make sure the concrete is cured, you can ask your contractor to come and check it, or you could ask the painter who you're actually going to, ask them to paint your coat to check the concrete cured or not. So once the concrete is cured, the next step is painting your coat. Now you got to use something called pickleball coat or coat approved paints. There are many of them like available online, and they are expensive, right? So these paints are a little bit different. They are water-based paints, and they also have the grip to it. So in that way, the ball can grip and you don't fall. So you got to particularly pick that kind of paint. Try not to paint it during winter times, which is a mistake I think I've done. We did actually paint during the month of January, which was really cold. So the paint did not stick like as expected. And it turns out to be our bad luck, where actually it snowed in Mobile. You remember after like 100 years, it snowed. So that really took off the paint, costing us some more money. So we actually had to repaint it. Luckily, the guy who did, gave us a good deal. So we ended up doing that. And after the paint was done, we have to let it cure as well to make sure, it sticks and there are no bubbles or anything. Then your coat is ready. Now, the other things I've done is we added a fence around the court with wind barriers. So in that way, the ball is, not going to go out of the court, or the wind is not going to affect the play. And then I did buy a movable net. The net I bought was Dominator net, and we'll put that in the description below. It's about $1,000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually see this net ever out in public, but yeah, it's a sturdy net.
It's a sturdy net. Yeah. The nets, what you have is those cheaper ones are about 200 to $50. And the problem with that is when the balls, when you hit the ball hard enough, it's going to come over the net, right?
Right.
Yeah. So this is one of the sturdy ones. The other one you have is Eula. Eula makes these mobile nets, which is what they use in tournaments, and they are expensive as well. I think they're like 2,500. So I picked somewhere in the middle. And then the final part, what we did was added floodlights so we could play at the night, even at night. So the lighting I made sure we had floodlights, but they're on the side, so it won't affect the play. So that's about it. Overall, it took about 5 months, the whole process. Obviously, there were some delays, with the weather, painting, and other stuff.
There's always going to be something when you live down in the South.
Yeah.
So give yourself, give or take, a 1 or 2 more months. Is that something?
Yeah, it's a long process, and
Yeah.
I would recommend it to do it. So the main things, in terms of the cost, right? So just to pour the concrete, where he cleaning your backyard, pouring that mud to level the ground and the concrete, that costed me about $18,000 roughly, give or take. I would say, depending on who you hire, it can be more expensive. But luckily, we got a contractor who we know who gave us a good deal. So that costed $18,000. Then the fence around, it's a 6 feet fence with the wind barriers that costed about 4,000, 4 grand. So far 22,000. The painting costed me $6,000, but then the redo costed me $2,000 more because of the snow messing up. So that's about $8,000 for the paint. So and then the fence was about $1,200, and the floodlights costed about $1,500. So altogether, how much you pay? Okay. Now, in terms of maintenance for pickleball court, I mean, usually if you build a really good concrete, there's not much maintenance. I mean, other than you just have to clean your leaves and other stuff. Painting, they say, you may need to repaint after 5 years, 6 years, depending on how much you use it. Now the underground water in Mobile is pretty high, so there's going to be some settling in the concrete. So you may see some cracks. Nothing to worry about it, as long as it's not affecting the architecture or your court. Regardless of how well you pour the concrete, you will see some cracks. So that's kind of understood. So there's really not much of maintenance other than just cleaning your coat every now and then, power washing. Now, in terms of regrets, the regrets what I have is, I mean, I wish I had a little bit more space, behind my baseline.
the side.
So right
Oh,
now,
okay.
yeah, we have about 7 feet,
Yeah.
which is good enough. But as we get better and better, our serves are going to be deeper. Um, Maybe a little bit more space on the sidelines so that we could do ATPs and other stuff. So those are the two things I think I could have done. But obviously, with the landscaping and the water drainage, I couldn't do much. I'm planning to redo, maybe add some wood, like the wooden
Like
boards
decks.
behind. Yeah, like decks,
Yeah.
like decks behind and side. So in that way, I can improve. I'll probably do that sometime soon. That's the only regret I have. But other than that, I really enjoyed. Uh, we as a group play sometimes. For the most part, me and my wife we play every day. That's our exercise. In the evenings, if we can't go to the gym, me and my wife, play for some time. It really is relaxing and calming. And I heard, you know, from the internet and obviously research that this is definitely going to improve your house value.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind, right? I mean, it's cheaper than pool. That was our main thing to go, and we use it pretty much every day. I would say the only time we don't use it if it's too hot or if it's raining like crazy. But other than that, me, my wife, my kids, we all play, so it's fun. So no regrets. I mean, I think it's worth at least for us, it's worth the price. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, less maintenance than a pool. I tell you that for sure.
oh yeah, absolutely. So that's it, guys. I mean, this is Siva again from Pickleball RX. If you guys have any questions regarding the pickleball court building in your backyard, please shoot us, in the comments, and we will reply back as soon as we can. Thank you again.